The sun was shining brightly over London. It was a peaceful Tuesday morning at Kensington Palace. Everything seemed normal. The royal staff were busy with their usual work. Some polished the silver, others arranged fresh flowers in the long hallways. In the gardens, roses were being trimmed. Security guards walked their regular paths, but something felt different today. At exactly 10:30 in the morning, the head secretary, Sarah, was in her office when the phone rang. She answered quickly. It was Prince William on the line. His voice was soft but serious. "Cancel everything for today," he said. "Kate and I need to leave the palace now." Sarah froze. She had worked for the royal family for 15 years. She had never heard such emotion in William's voice before. Her heart skipped a beat. "Of course, Your Royal Highness," Sarah replied quietly. Within minutes, the palace was buzzing with whispers. Staff wondered what could be so important that the prince and princess would cancel all their royal duties. They were supposed to meet top officials. A charity event was also planned. Everything was suddenly put aside. In their private apartments, Prince William paced back and forth. His steps were quick. His face looked tense. Kate sat on the sofa, holding a letter. Her eyes were red. She had clearly been crying. The letter had arrived only 2 hours ago. A nurse from St. Mary's Children's Hospital had sent it. The letter was simple but deeply moving. It told the story of a 7-year-old girl named Emma. Emma was very sick. She had cancer. For many weeks she had stayed in the hospital. Emma loved princesses and fairy tales. Her room was covered with her own drawings of castles and brave princesses, but there was one thing she wished for most. Emma wanted to meet a real prince and princess. Doctors had told Emma's family that she didn't have much time left. A kind nurse, Jennifer, wrote the letter to the royal family. She hoped they would read it. No one really expected a reply, but when William and Kate read it, they knew what they had to do. Kate wiped her tears and looked at William. "You must go to her," she said softly. William agreed. Without wasting time, he called Sarah to cancel all plans. Everyone in the palace worked quickly. The royal car was prepared. The cook packed sweet treats for the children. Kate's assistant gathered gifts that might bring smiles to the sick children. Everyone understood this was something special. By 11:15, the black royal car was ready. William and Kate walked toward it together. They looked determined, but their faces also showed sadness. They were going to meet a very brave little girl. As the car drove away from the palace, the staff watched from the windows. The palace seemed unusually quiet. Something important was about to happen. No one knew exactly what, but they could all feel it inside the car. William held Kate's hand. Both felt nervous but also sure. They didn't know how this visit would change their lives forever. But deep inside, they knew one thing: they were about to do something that truly mattered. And soon, the world would see a moment that would touch hearts everywhere. Most children her age played in parks or went to school. But Emma spent her days in a hospital bed. She had been fighting cancer for 2 years. Room 204 at St. Mary's Children's Hospital had become her little world. Even with all the pain, Emma smiled often. Her room was filled with magic. The walls were covered with drawings of castles, princesses, and brave knights. Emma loved fairy tales. She believed that hope and kindness could make anything better by her bedside. There was a small plastic tiara. It was old. Some of the tiny fake diamonds had fallen off. But to Emma, it was her crown more precious than gold. Every morning, she placed it on her head. She called herself Princess Emma. Emma had one very special dream. She wanted to meet a real prince and princess. One day, Emma asked Nurse Jennifer, "Do Prince William and Princess Kate visit children like me?" The question broke Jennifer's heart. Emma's eyes sparkled with hope. She promised she would be the best patient if only she could meet them. That night, Jennifer sat at her kitchen table. Her heart was full. She had to try. She wrote a letter to Kensington Palace. She told the story of Emma's bravery and her dream. The next morning, Jennifer mailed the letter. She never imagined it would reach them, but it did. Meanwhile, The black royal car moved quietly through London's streets. Prince William sat beside Kate. Both were deep in thought. This visit was different from their usual royal duties. There were no cameras, no reporters. This visit came from the heart. Kate held Jennifer's letter tightly. She had read it many times. Each word touched her deeply. William reached over and squeezed her hand. Both knew this was something they had to do. The security team had planned the safest route. Only a few people at the hospital knew they were coming. It would be a surprise for Emma. Before leaving the palace, Kate had chosen special gifts: storybooks, teddy bears, and colorful art supplies for the children. For Emma, she had picked something very specialer: real silver tiara that once belonged to Princess Diana. It sparkled like stars. William had written personal letters for each child. He wrote simple words to tell them they were brave and strong. He added small drawings of crowns and hearts to make them smile. As the car got closer to the hospital, they both felt nervous and excited. Kate whispered, "I hope this brings her joy." William nodded. He asked the driver to stop at a small flower shop. He bought bright yellow flower sunshine for the children's rooms. Soon, the hospital building came into view. Kate's heart raced. Somewhere inside, a little girl with a plastic tiara waited. She didn't know that sometimes dreams really do come true. When the car arrived, there were no crowds. It was a secret visit. William and Kate stepped out, holding the gifts and flowers. The nurses inside had only been told that special visitors were coming. The elevator opened on the 4th floor. The hallway smelled of medicine. The walls were painted in cheerful colors. Nurses walked quickly, carrying CLIP-BOARDS. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, head of the children's ward, waited at the nurses' station. When she saw William and Kate, she gasped. "This is a first," she whispered. Kate wore a simple blue dress. William wore a casual sweater. They didn't want to look too royal. They wanted the children to feel comfortable. Dr. Mitchell explained there were 12 children in the ward. None of them knew about the visit. It would be a surprise. Kate looked at William. "Are you ready?" she asked softly. He nodded. "Make this a day to remember." With their hearts full of hope, they began walking toward the first room. The elevator doors opened with a soft chime. Prince William and Kate stepped into the children's ward of St. Mary's Hospital. Their hearts were beating fast. They were about to meet the bravest children in London. The hallway was bright, painted. With cartoon animals, nurses moved quickly, carrying medicines. The air smelled of soap and flowers. At the nurses' station, Dr. Sarah Mitchell smiled at the royal couple. "They have no idea you're coming," she whispered. "It will be a big surprise." Kate held the silver tiara and a bag of gifts. William carried the bright yellow flowers and letters. Both of them looked calm, but inside they felt nervous. This was not just a visit, it was something special. "Let's begin," Kate said softly. They walked to the first room. A 10-year-old boy named David lay in bed. He had just had surgery. He was reading a comic book when the door opened. When he looked up and saw William and Kate, his eyes grew wide. The comic book fell to the floor. "Hello, come," did his mouth opened in shock. "David," William said kindly. "I see you love superheroes." David stammered. "Yes, I do." Kate sat by his bed. "You are a superhero too, David. You are very brave." David's face lit up with a huge smile. For a moment, he forgot about his pain. Room after room, William and Kate visited each child. Each moment was filled with surprise and joy. The royal couple listened to the children's stories, asked about their hobbies, and gave them small gifts. In one room, they met twin sisters, Lucy and Emma. Both were 8 years old. They had been in the hospital for weeks and missed home badly. When the princess walked in, Lucy whispered, "Are we dreaming?" Kate laughed softly. "Oh, sweet girl. We're really here." The twins giggled and hugged Kate tightly. William gave them flowers and told them, "Stay strong. You are both very brave." The children's happiness grew with each visit. Nurses watched with smiles. Even some doctors wiped away tears. The royal couple brought something the hospital had not seen for a long time: pure joy. But the most important visit was still ahead. Finally, they reached room 204, Emma's room. Kate's heart beat faster. She held the silver tiara close. William squeezed her hand. They both knew this was the moment that mattered most. Dr. Mitchell opened the door gently. Inside, Emma lay in bed. Her face was pale, but her eyes sparkled. She wore her plastic tiara and was drawing a picture of a princess. She looked up, expecting to see her nurse. Instead, she saw Prince William and Princess Kate. For a second, Emma froze. Then her mouth opened in surprise. Her little hand flew to her mouth. Tears welled in her eyes. Princess Emma, Kate said softly, walking to her. We heard your story. We came to meet the bravest princess in all of London. Emma's eyes filled with tears. She whispered, You really came? William smiled warmly. Of course we did. We wanted to meet you. Kate gently placed the silver tiara on Emma's head. It sparkled brightly. For you, Kate whispered. A tiara for a real princess. Emma gasped. Her tiny fingers touched the tiara. It's beautiful, she said with a trembling voice. Kate sat beside her. William took Emma's hand. The little girl smiled through her tears. Outside the room, nurses and staff watched in silence. Sigh, wiped their eyes. The scene touched everyone's heart. In that small hospital room, something beautiful happened. It was not just a royal visit. It was a moment of love, kindness, and hope. And it was a moment no one would ever forget. The door of room 204 slowly closed behind them. Prince William and Kate stood quietly beside little Emma's bed. The bright silver tiara now rested on Emma's head. It sparkled softly in the light. For a moment, the room felt still, like time had stopped. Emma's small voice broke the silence. Is this really for me? She asked, her fingers gently touching the beautiful tiara. Kate smiled warmly. Yes, Princess Emma. You are the bravest princess we have ever met. William nodded. And today, we wanted to make your dream come true. Emma's eyes were wide with wonder. She looked at her mother, who stood nearby with tears streaming down her face. The whole scene was so full of love that it made everyone's heart ache. For the next hour, William and Kate stayed with Emma. They listened to her stories about fairy tales and her dreams. Emma told them about her favorite princess who never gave up hope. You are just like her, Kate said softly, holding Emma's tiny hand. Then, something magical happened. Emma asked, Would you like to hear one of my stories? Kate smiled. We would love that. Emma began to tell a story about a little princess who fought a great battle against darkness. Her voice was soft but full of courage. William and Kate listened closely, as if they were hearing the most important story. In the world, outside the room, nurses and doctors had gathered quietly. No one wanted to disturb the moment. Some wiped tears from their eyes. The staff knew this was something rare, a moment that would stay in their hearts forever. When Emma finished her story, William leaned in and said, You are truly a hero, Emma. Never forget that. Kate gave Emma a soft teddy bear. For you, she whispered, so you always have a friend by your side. Emma hugged the bear tightly. Her smile was pure joy. Finally, it was time for William and Kate to leave. They both knelt by Emma's bed. Princess Emma, William said gently, thank you for letting us visit you today. You have made our hearts very happy. Kate kissed Emma's forehead softly. Stay strong, little princess. Emma's mother stepped forward, her voice shaking. Thank you both for this. You have given my daughter happiness. That words cannot describe. With tears in their own eyes, William and Kate left the room. The hallway was silent. Everyone who saw them knew something special had just happened. Before they left the hospital, William and Kate visited the other children once more. They handed out letters and gifts, shared smiles and hugs. The children's joy filled the ward with warmth. When they finally stepped outside, the bright sun shone down on them. William looked at Kate. That was one of the most important days of our lives, he said quietly. Kate nodded. Sometimes it's the smallest moments that touch the heart the most. News of their visit soon spread, though no reporters had been there. The hospital staff shared the story. Soon, people around the world heard about the royal couple's secret visit. Many were moved to tears. They saw that beneath the titles and crowns, William and Kate had hearts full of love. In room 204, Emma slept peacefully that night. Her silver tiara rested on her head, her new teddy bear in her arms. She had met her prince and princess. Her dream had come true, and the world had seen what true kindness looks like.